Like the fact that I've survived this long. An alcoholic, by the way. I'm just kidding.
See you guys taking shots on that MK11, freaking
Dude, every Sunday, bro. They're literally just ripping shots at 8 o'clock on a Sunday.
Dude, do you guys want to know what's crazy? Is that I don't even welcome to the KoloCast. By the way, I feel like we're already going in this episode. This is officially episode 25 of the KoloCast. Welcome everyone. We're just gonna be talking with Dink here. That is absolutely incredible. Should we just go in like that? Is this
I don't know
episode?
when to start it or when to end it, but let's just roll with it. Let's go.
What were we just talking about? What were we just talking about?
Your alcoholism, as you have a graveyard of Kraken bottles in the bottom corner of your camera.
Okay, so it's crazy that every time I'm commentating with someone else that also drinks, I feel like these days they're the ones that bring it out of me. I used to be the influencer, but now like if I'm a guest, we had Hot Rod on as a guest. He runs Mortal Kombat television, 17 other televisions now. And every time I'm on there, I actually am the one that's like, shit, I gotta commentate with him. He's gonna make me drink till I'm dead. I have to have a shot for every Clash and Injustice too?
Yeah, literally.
Dude!
Really? Oh my
God. And there's like 17 matches on the card. And there's 2 of them per match. Do you know how hard that is, Dink? Anyways.
See, I learned a long time ago that as soon as you have like a sweet spot, but like as soon as you get to a certain level of drunkenness, shut the stream down. Nothing good happens after that certain level of drunkenness.
I agree, man. There's a level of coherentness. I mean, old viewers of this channel, when I did some sub tournaments, I used to get to a level of drunkenness where the commentary made no sense. I didn't know where in the bracket we were. I don't know what the score is. It's not updated. And it just fell apart. Like, it would just fall apart mid-tournament. So you got to count your blessings on some of those. But welcome to the KoloCast, everyone. This is episode number 25. We're just picking up on some incoherent ramblings because we can talk about everything with this man. He's been around in the community for 27 years. I think it's more like 12 or 14. He'll let us know. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Mr. Aquaman. I'm joined by Flashyy over there. Flashyy, I'm going to let you do a little intro as well. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. I'm super excited for today. Also very excited. I'm not the only one with a green screen today. So shout out to my fellow green screener over here. He knows. He gets it. But we have, like you said, we've had OGs on this show before, but this might be like OG of OG, and I cannot wait to get into this conversation. Aquaman, please formally introduce our guest, and let's get right to this one.
Oh, man, I can say so many things. He runs his own organization, runs his own tournaments, is one of the first YouTubers in the competitive community, one of the longest competing competitors in this community across multiple titles. Ladies and gentlemen, on our podcast today and competing in the Kolosseum Season 2 as we speak, it's going to be the Quan Father, Shujinkydink. Welcome, Dink, to the KoloCast.
Holy smokes, that's an ego stroke right there. My goodness. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I love talking, so this is right up my alley.
Perfect. That means me and Aquaman got to talk less. That makes our lives a little bit easier. Let's start from the beginning. Like we said, true OG out here, man. 14 plus years in this space. How did it all start, man?
This year is going to be year 18 in the community. 2004 with Mortal Kombat Deception was where I started on a website way back when called Mortal Kombat Online. I think
MKO.
It's still around, actually, yeah. And then we kind of, a little group of us didn't like MKO because the mods were not doing things we wanted, so we moved to Mortal Kombat Armageddon Central, where it was the place for news, waiting for Mortal Kombat Armageddon to come out. And then once Armageddon came out and MK vs. DC was a thing, then they switched it to MK Central. And eventually got to TYM, Test Your Might. Bam, there's a history of online.
Dude, I didn't even know that there was online for MK Armageddon and Deception back then. What was that like?
The Wild Wild West. I don't know if you guys have ever played Armageddon, but there's this the air combat where you do like these moves in the air, but it was there was a glitch where you could cancel it and just infinite over and over and over again. You just two little hits, drop down, 2 little hits, drop down. So the thing in the community at the time was you're allowed to do 2 of those, and if you do more than 2 of those, then you're cheesing it and you're a douchebag. So yeah, it wasn't uncommon to see people do like these two little air things and then drop down. But if you came across somebody online and they were doing the full infinite, they weren't part of the community. You're just a random ass Andy doing freaking infinites on MKA. How do you feel? You feel good about yourself? No, you probably don't. Or maybe you do because I lost. So, I mean, but no, the community was weird back then because it was, I was actually, believe it or not, when I first found the community, I was a total scrub. Like I was like pull my internet cord out if I lost. In the ranked,
Oh no.
yeah, in the ranked matches, you had a choice to actually accept the matches or not. Would never accept a match with anybody who was better than me, who had a better record. So I'd be number one on the leaderboards every fucking month because they
Oh
reset
yeah.
it. Because I'd just play on these shitty people and I'd be like
No,
120 and 0. And then one time I played this guy named Easy to Beat, and he was the player at the time. Like no one was better than him. And he messaged me after I declined him one time, and he said, "Why do you always decline me? Why don't we just play?" And then he invited me to a player match that wasn't ranked. He's like, "Well, we'll just play player matches if you want, and I'll just see how good you are and that kind of thing." So I got absolutely wrecked by this guy, like just destroyed, like embarrassed. And he sent me the GGs. And hey, check out this website and Mortal Kombat Online, I think it was at the time.
Wow.
Then I joined. That's how I joined the community. And I went up and made a little welcome thread. And they're like, "Hey, my name's Dink, and I love playing this game." And there's just a comment, "You fucking scrub, you fucking dodge me."
Oh no. Oh.
And I was like, "I swear I've changed. I played Easy to Beat. He showed me the ways." And everyone's like, "Yeah, fucking right." Pig of the Hut might actually remember that because I met Pig of the Hut and Rio were both OGs that were back then at that time. And yeah, then eventually I managed to turn it around and become the player that I blossomed into. What a sweet story. Coming of age.
That's incredible to have beginnings that go that far back and to go that deep into the trenches that is so not known about in modern and in the modern NRS community. Everyone thinks kind of back to maybe even TYM and before TYM was like the dark ages. It wasn't in the public eye, and that's incredible. And even to hear names like Pig of the Hut and Rio going that far back as well is something that not a lot of us know.
Yeah, the OGs of OGs, and there's a couple of other kind of more unknown guys that never really did the tournament thing that have still been around. This guy on PC, Motaro, just always been an online player. Never really went offline or anything, but they were around back in those days. So it's always cool to kind of see these guys that have been around all these years and to think about how much their lives have changed, like in their personal lives too, right? But one thing has remained consistent in Mortal Kombat. So I think that's really cool.
You
Dude.
mentioned.
Hold on. There's it just popped in my head, Aquaman, then I'll let you say. There's people that are playing MK11 right now that weren't even born during these days, dude. That is blowing my mind. Like literally not even on Earth yet. I'm sorry. That I had to just get that out there. Aquaman, go ahead, ask him what you wanted to ask him.
I mean, that just blew my own mind. I'm like, oh my god!
Exactly.
I actually,
that's what I was thinking about the whole time.
I actually play a 14-year-old on my stream all the time, and I'm like, dang,
Not
Dink
even
was
born yet.
Dink was competing. I mean, dodging people in our
Dodging, not competing, dodging.
Yeah, that's right.
when they weren't even being thought of right now. But Dink, you just mentioned offline, and can you tell us where that transition to online to offline happened, or when that happened as well?
Yeah, so that happened in MK9 because before then it was just online tournaments. They would have like because clans were a big thing.
Boy,
Like,
have we come full circle. LOL.
yeah, right? I still run one of the oldest clans that I started in 2004, and they have
shout outs. Name, by the way, drop it. Let us know.
simply the best. Actually shouted out by Ed Boon the other day. But yeah, every year they had the King of Clans, and how that started was nobody wanted me in their clan because I was such a scrub. So I said, well, fuck you guys, I'll just start my own clan. So I started STB with these two guys that I used to beat the crap out of, and nobody showed up to the King of Clans tournament. It was just me. But I managed to do some work, lose pretty gracefully. But anyway, so moving forward past all that was the online competing stuff that they used to do. And then MK9 came out, and I watched Evo, and I had never heard of Evo before. And I saw the grand finals, and I was like, yo, that's fucking Rio. Rio's in grand finals of Evo? What the hell? And I see that they have the cameras and the huge stage, and I was like, yo, I want to do that. I could be, I could be good enough to do that. And so I looked up the tournaments, and the next tournament that the big one that was coming out was called Devastation. It was in Phoenix, Arizona. I think it was just a one-off. They had some issues with payouts and stuff and didn't end up doing another one. But there was still about, I want to say about 500 people in the bracket for MK9.
Oh,
And
it's huge.
that was a big turning point for me because I was maining Quan Chi because I thought the rune trap was broke as shit, which it kind of was. Everything was kind of broken in that game.
Was.
But everybody had Quan Chi as the worst character in MK9, and I could not understand why that was the reason. So I went to Devastation, and I ended up doing really well. I think I got 9th overall. I think I lost to B-Wiz and 16-bit, but even 16-bit, I,
Wow.
brought them right to the brink with Quan Chi, and then after that, everyone
This
kind of moved
is your
them
first
up.
offline, by the way, getting 9th?
Yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
it's crazy.
That's pretty good. Out of 500? Well, go for it.
Yeah, 500 some odd people. I got 9th place, and I remember there's still like some clips of it and whatnot. And I remember 16-bit commentating, and I beat somebody. I can't remember who it was, but 16-bit says in the microphone, she says, "I don't want to play that Quan Chi guy," and that was
Wow.
really flattering to me. But yeah, so I ended up losing to 16-bit, but it's okay. I had a great time. I did a money match with Tom Brady because we had beef going back to MKDC.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I think I beat his Green Lantern with Kano, and he said that I'd never be able to beat him offline. Which when we got to Devastation, I think I lost to him 3-2 in a money match, which really hurt my feelings. So I really wanted to beat him, but it was just a good experience overall. I had a lot of fun and meeting some of these people that I had known since like 2004, 2005 that came out to these events that I would never have met otherwise. It was a surreal experience, and then from there I was just addicted. You got that tournament bug. I gotta hit them all. Like Pokemon, you gotta hit every
Yep.
single one. So there's still some that when I kind of retired from competing back in 2019, which was a perfect time to do that. But there's still like some tournaments I wanted to hit like before, like one a year. Like Texas Showdown was one I never really went to. Wanted to check that out. CEO. So I was just gonna do like one a year to see my friends and just dip my toe in the competing a little bit. So when/if things go back to normal, I do want to do that and meet some people, in those states and stuff that I've never did get a chance to meet. But yeah, offline tournaments are definitely another thing. And if you've never been to one, I highly suggest that you try it out because you'll get addicted like I do.
That's
Like
what
all
I
of
always
us
say
did.
every time.
Yeah, your wallet probably won't thank you for it, but I will.
Nice. Well said. Well said. So you kind of, you experienced the bug, you're playing MK9, you're really enjoying the game, you're playing Quan Chi, and now MKX is on the brink of coming out. What are kind of your thoughts? Are you like, this is where I'm going to go all in now that I have all this experience? What was kind of that thought process like?
Yeah, like I kind of knew coming off the bat that I was going to have a little bit of an edge because I'd done the MK9 thing, I've done the offline thing, and I really felt it. Like when you're sitting in an offline tournament and people kind of know who you are and they've seen you compete before. There's an aspect to that you can kind of use to your advantage, and like there's the thing has always been like, oh, I'm really good online, so I'm going to be really good offline. But there's such a mental component to it that even
Mhm.
with something like that, sitting down next to somebody that you've seen compete offline, that is something in itself that's just, ooh, it gives you kind of. It's an obstacle to overcome that has absolutely nothing to do with gameplay. I think that's what people kind of forget when you're talking about playing online versus offline, is there's so many components that have absolutely nothing to do with the game. So I knew that kind of coming out of the bat, I had that confidence to do well in MKX. I wasn't really expecting to do that great, but that was probably 2015 to 2017 was probably when I grinded the hardest of my entire career and really just wanted to just be the best and like do as I wanted to get that Evo top 8, which I'm sad evaded me, but I came really close on 3 separate occasions. I got
Oh,
17th at Evo 3 times in a row.
Oh,
Kind of pissed me off.
oh
dude.
my
You know,
goodness, Dink! I honestly didn't know that it was 3 times in a row. I remember the third one. That
Yeah.
I had written down at the third Evo because I remember you broke out the Baraka, and I was like, yeah, oh my
Yeah,
god!
yeah, that's
Ah! and,
Yeah.
and to speak on that as well, you were rocking 2 characters that were considered at the bottom of the tier list of MK9, and
Yeah.
making it work as well. By the way, was also a
Yeah.
Baraka main back in the day.
That's right. Yeah, the old Baraka, and I remember. I don't know. I used him a couple times in tournaments. I used him in SCR against what was his name? He played Liu Kang, and we had like a super hype set because nobody thought that Liu Kang could lose to Baraka, and I came so close to beating him. I really wish I won that set. Yeah, I know it's on the tip of my tongue too, but I
Not
can see
like
his
this.
face.
He was
can
a
see his
crazy
face.
88, wasn't he?
I think so. I think so.
God, I can see it too. I can.
Right?
Oh no, this is bad. Welcome, guys. This is 2 old men that.
The old man podcast.
but
and
I,
Flashy, don't include me in that. I'm not there.
but I know
Don't put me
exactly.
in there, yeah.
But Dink, I know exactly who you're talking about. I just wish we knew
Yeah.
his name so he'd get some props on here. But he was really good back in the day.
2.5 Men podcast. And then I used I used Baraka again at Evo. That's when I got 17th, where again I almost beat Dizzy. Dizzy didn't really know the matchup, I think, or didn't expect me to pick Baraka against Johnny Cage, but that's where I got 17th. I think that was my last MK9 before MKX was at Evo. And yeah, I think it came out strong off the bat at Northwest Majors. I got 4th place. I beat. It's funny because me and Justin Wong have played in tournament in every NRS game. And,
Really?
yeah, so we had some beef in the MK9 at Canada Cup. So basically, he beat me in a grand finals, which I wasn't really that
It was
experienced.
Raiden, right?
With Raiden, yeah.
This.
And then yes, there you
There's a
go.
matchup.
And then so he, as soon as he beat me, he got up and he said, "This game fucking sucks," and then he walked away.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah. So then the next year, because he was the champion, and I came back and I really wanted my revenge for that. I came back and I ended up beating him and baballied him and stuff on stream.
Oh.
I was actually the only Canadian to win a game at Canada Cup that year, so that was pretty cool too. But then we had some beef, but he would come out to Calgary where I was living at the time, and we got to know each other a little bit, and then we kind of became like buddies. And then MKX came out at Northwest Majors, and I had to play him again, Raiden versus Quan Chi, same matchup in MKX, and I managed to beat him there. And then in MK11 came out, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but just part of the story. And then he came to Vancouver for a tournament, and I played him there, and I beat him, his Sonya, with my Cetrion, and he got up and he's like, "I should be playing Cetrion. I like zoners." I'm like, "Hey, try it out." But anyways, Northwest Majors, there's something I want to talk about because it made me really salty. Is because Wonder Chef. Now if you've ever seen my match, my very famous match with Perfect Legend, where I just basically mix them the whole time with this overhead low bat,
Pre-patch
over
Quan.
and over again. Yeah, that's Quan.
Yep.
And so I discovered that just before Northwest Majors happened. And we were playing some casuals with Wonder Chef, and I was doing it against one of his guys from SoCal there, and he's looking, he's like, "What is that you're doing?" And I was like, "Oh, well, if you did send the bat low and you do the overhead, you can create this hard to blockable thing at the same time." And he's like, "Huh, that's interesting." Anyways, the next day we're playing in top 8, and he starts fucking hitting me with this shit.
Oh no, he stole it.
And he ends up beating
Overnight?
me because of that.
He took
shit.
it overnight. Oh, I didn't know it was
Overnight.
overnight. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So it's my fault for showing it to him, but I am salty that he stole that from me and then used it to beat me at top 8. And yeah.
Went on to win the entire tournament, by the way, did Wonder Chef in that one.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. On
One
the
takes
pop
away.
bonus that I
Hey,
worked with
you
Tyler
know-
Lansdowne to get.
That's just extra salt in the wound all these years later. But it's really it's amazing that at your first MK9 event you got 9th, first MKX event getting 4th. Man, you are in there.
pretty consistent out the gate. I think as time goes on, maybe I don't know if I just kind of stop caring as much or I get a little bit too complacent, but I kind of sink back a little bit. But for most events, I tend to kind of get a little bit stronger out the gate, and I do like zoning a lot, which I think has a mental component to people as well, especially if they don't have time to really elaborate and understand what's going on. So, like Quan Chi could zone really well, Cetrion could zone really well. So it was just another mental aspect that I have on top of my experience and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I seem to have good luck out of the gate, but
MK12 then. Here we go.
Oh
MK12
yeah, I
coming
mean,
right up.
MK12.
That
I
Quan
mean,
Chi's coming back. But
listen,
actually,
man, he's still getting third these days. Just saying.
Yeah, hey, trying.
and potential to take that Kolosseum season 2 MKX. It's right around the
Yeah,
corner, man. Right around the corner.
I'm
But
trying, man.
I did want to ask. So we've been talking a lot about Mortal Kombat. Did you ever have any time in the Injustice games?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really as as into the Injustice games as I was into Mortal Kombat, but because I like to support NRS, I'll play
Hmm.
whatever they put out, kind of thing. The first Injustice came out, and I did okay at some events. I think I got like top 32 at what was called at the time UFGT, I think, before it became Combo Breaker. Um, and I played Sinestro, and I enjoyed Sinestro for a little bit, but then all the Injustice 1 craziness just got to me, and I said, I'm not playing this game anymore. It's stupid. And then one of my
It was
friends,
wild.
it was pretty bad. It was, let's be real here. One of my friends messaged me and said, hey, this DLC character, Martian Manhunter, came out, and I think you'd really like him. He has like ruins and teleports and stuff, just like Quan, but he's better. And I'm like, oh, really, eh? Well, let me try it out. And sure enough, I tried out Martian Manhunter, and because he was deliciously OP, I was like, hey, this game's not so bad. Let's give it a chance,
Well, wait a
And then-
minute.
It was around that time actually that I actually started running some sets with Sonic Fox because
Mm.
they were. I was managing to take some games off their Batgirl, and so we were in this King of the Hill, and we're trading off wins. And then we leave and do like a 1v1 for a bit, and I don't know. There was like a couple weeks there where we were doing that fairly consistently, and when MKX came out and they blew the fuck up, I off to the side with you, but it was really cool to be able to be a part of that and see them just before that set with Pig of the Hut at Evo. Did
Ooh.
you watch that where like I think Pig of the Hut sends Sonic Fox to lose and it's just freaking was it
Yep.
6 in a row?
Yep.
That was pretty cool to watch, and saying like, hey, I used to train with them, blah blah blah. So I don't know.
That was the
Piece of
same
history.
that was the same grand final that was brought up in previous episodes as well from people that was one of the matches that got people into the community was just seeing, especially when Pig sent Fox to losers, that guy popped off and it looked like he just won the Olympics. Like it
Yeah.
was insane.
I mean, that was a big deal, at that point. But a bit of a premature celebration. But hey, I mean,
Yeah, hey, it is what
Grand
it is.
finals
It
at
got
Evo is
people
still
in.
grand finals at Evo.
And grand finals at Evo, like there's a stark contrast in like the one that got me into the community was almost the same one as you, where I tuned into it was Rio versus Perfect Legend, and it was Melina versus Kung Lao in that very first one. And then just seeing the energy in the crowd and seeing the ambiance and all that fun stuff, and then comparing it to that Pig of the Hut versus Sonic Fox one, and you see a major difference in like the passion and the not just in the audience but the players themselves. Like there was so much more oomph from everyone in that grand finals, and I feel like that's what drew a lot of people in as well, was just seeing people get a lot into it and then resonating with that energy.
Yeah, 100%. It's that was it for me. When they had the camera pan out over that huge crowd, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I want to be a
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
Do what I can to be a part of that. So I don't know. It's just cool, and I hope when future tournaments happen again that it inspires more people to come out and those crowds get bigger and bigger.
absolutely.
100%.
I love to hear that. We spent a little bit of time here talking about your competing days and your offline days. I have something that I'm very fascinated to ask you about, and that is you've been uploading on YouTube for 14 years. Your first video on YouTube is 14 years ago, which is 2008. People were not uploading on YouTube back then. Like maybe you had a couple Call of Duty montages here and there for gaming, but like people were not uploading to YouTube. What made you look at that website and be like, this I'm gonna start uploading here. And then I have a back end question. It's like, what has kept you consistent for 14 years? But first, I gotta know what made you be like, I'm gonna upload this today. First one.
So it started when there was two of us that mained a character called Lee May, and she wasn't really well known because there was only two of us
Two
that
people
used
ever? Like that's it on the
that
planet?
made that made
That
us
sounds about right.
Probably.
within the community at the time. You got to remember the community was like 30 people maybe, so like it was pretty small. So there's two people that mained Lee May, and so she was my first main. So she would
Wow.
yeah, if she were ever to come out in the same game as Quan Chi, I'm sorry, Quan, you're getting the boot. I'm going with Lee May
The Lee
because
May father, not the Quan father
No!
anymore. Huh? Look at that.
Oh no!
no one forgets their first. Okay, I'll tell
Oh
you.
my god.
I've never heard such betrayal in my life.
Immediately, I
Just
don't care anymore.
I'm done with you. Just
Out of-
Woody getting chucked in the trash.
Out of the way. You know, I was playing her for a good 7 years before he was even a thought. So I mean, sorry, Quan, it's the truth. But I wanted to show off some combos with her and some cool tech that I knew, and I didn't really know how to do that. And someone had mentioned YouTube, so I was like, oh, okay, well maybe I'll have a look at this. And I had my video camera from when I used to do like semi-competitive skateboarding. So I'd set up my video camera to record my TV to record these combos, put them on YouTube so I could post them on the various websites I was on to share
Mm.
like this tech with Lee May or whatever. So that's kind of how it started, and I was kind of inconsistent with it up until I would say 2015 when I was going hard in MKX, and I found out that people actually make money off YouTube, and like there's people that like make a living off of doing YouTube, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
well, that's pretty cool. I could do that. So like my first video I ever made as a official YouTuber, as they say, was how I lab a character, and I remember learning Tremor, and I had this $7 Walmart headset that I was using for like audio and my mic at the time. It was really bad. Every once in a while, I go back and watch it and be like, "Man, you sure have come a long ways from your $7 Walmart mic." And yeah, so then I played. I just showed what I learned with Tremor, and then I went into a ranked match and won a ranked match, and then from there I just kind of just kept coming up with ideas. That actually first video would turn into a series on my channel called the 15-minute character, where I set up a timer and I go random select on the select screen, whatever character it lands on, start the timer in practice mode. I have 15 minutes to go and learn this character, just go through as much as I can and kind of talk about what I'm doing. Then I go and try and win a ranked match with them. And it's been a very popular series, and
That's
people
dope.
seem to really like it. So I don't know.
That's awesome. I did not know about that. Something that, I've watched your videos. So when MK11 first came out, you were putting out a lot of character tutorials. I'll never forget this. I was trying to learn Baraka for one of my YouTube videos, and I went to your channel. I typed in like Baraka or whatever. Your channel popped up, your Baraka combo tutorials and your tutorials with him popped up. And I was like, man, this guy is good at tutorials. You were like talking through things and showing things off and like talking about frames and what to do in this situation. And from there, every time you put out a character tutorial, I would watch it in preparation for whatever video I had to make that week. So that's absolutely insane how everything comes full circle. And you kind of just fell into that like character tutorial thing, or were you always like, I like exploring characters, I want to teach people about this, or did it like you just saw that people liked you talking about the characters in practice mode?
Yeah, so when I started doing YouTube full time and kind of realizing that at that point there wasn't really a place where you could go to learn about
There it
stuff.
is.
All the YouTube videos were just of people playing or of people doing this or that or the other thing. There wasn't really too much in the way of tutorials, so I thought that maybe I would try and fill that space. And that's kind of where I started. And then once I kind of got going with that, I remember I was really, really anxious about this because I was like, I don't know if how people are going to think of me, but I said, I'll start doing one-on-one lessons with people and I'll offer that and see kind of if that'll take off or whatever. And I remember announcing that and saying like, here, we're doing this now, blah, blah, blah. And it just blew up. Like I had like 3 people sign up the first day, and then I had to actually like limit the spots because of how many people. I think that was a combination of me teaching and also being competing and being on the streams at the same time. The people knew who I was, so they knew that I was kind of reputable. And so once I went through that and started doing these lessons with people, and that's kind of where I learned how to explain and, do a little kind of tutorial type of thing. And then, so when MK11 came out, it started with Injustice 2 actually, but I wasn't that big at that time, so my videos weren't as big. But that's where I kind of started to really focus on the tutorial stuff now that I knew how to explain it, and I've already explained it to people one-on-one, so I kind of knew what the easiest ways to do and kind of where to go. And then when MK11 came out, that's when the channel kind of, I think we doubled our subscriber count with all our tutorial videos. And I'm really just sitting back and looking for the next NRS game, because I'm going to take another step and actually kind of go a step further down and explain to people that don't even know that, square and triangle are 1 and 2, and really, because like 1% of the player base are the ones that end up competing. So I really want to reach a player base that, they just want to sit on their couch and play with their friends. And you know what? Because I every once in a while I'll get a comment saying on my videos like, I don't even know what the hell you're saying, and I didn't even think about that until I kind of saw those comments. So now in the past, I've made like a couple little smaller tutorials, just like how to play Injustice 2, and kind of talking to somebody that doesn't even know this is called a fighting game, So it's going to be really exciting for the future. What NRS has in store, I have no idea, but I'm sitting here and I'm waiting, and I got that upload button ready for when it comes.
Yeah, man, 14 years of doing YouTube, and that just goes to show you that even though, there's that 2-year cycle, and I see so many other people running out of content, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Meanwhile, you've gone 14 years straight off of this, and there's almost an unlimited potential for stuff. It's really all just whatever comes to your mind, it feels like, Dink, which is awesome. And I'm gonna narrow one down for you, one video in particular. I've brought it up before, probably here on the KoloCast. I've brought it up in other podcasts. I think you know where I'm going with this, Dink.
I have a hunch.
I bring it up all the time with Dink, ladies and gentlemen. But did you know that when it snows, I'm kidding, but did you know that on Dink's channel, a very long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there's a video with the top 5 worst Mortal Kombat commentary of all time. And my commentary debut is number 1.
That's right. Congratulations. Or should I say, wow.
Wow.
So let that be, I mean, a wonderful video, by the way, Dink. One of my favorite videos. And there's a couple more videos I'm going to bring up too, but I wanted to bring that one up because let that be a lesson to anyone that, some people may take that as a negative, Dink, right? And I only took it as a positive. I actually loved it, only looked at it as, well, first off, right after it happened, I was like, I said, wow, too much. And then looking at it back, it's like only taking it as, constructive criticism, and ended up being a really good thing for me at the end, because I was like, oh man, I do remember absolutely sucking. And then progressively getting better, and let that be a lesson that, just keep doing it. If it's something that you're passionate about, just keep doing it,
Yeah. And I mean, looking at you now, I mean, you wouldn't think that was even the same person back then. So, I mean, sucking at something is the first step to being
That is
good.
exactly.
Let's go.
That's exactly
That's
it. Guys, if you go to your tournament and you get absolutely pistol whipped in your first match,
that's how it should be. You should get rocked.
It is the only way to get better.
Unless your name's Shujinkydink and you're getting 9th and 4th.
Yeah, then you get 9th and 4th, which is incredible.
Unicorn, baby.
But there's a lot of content that you do that I myself love too. That's different. You have your tutorial stuff. You have kind of these other informative ones, and then there's sometimes where you'll just grab something that's happening. And there's one video in particular that's one of my favorite, and I'll never not laugh until I'm in tears. Do you remember when you responded to SMG Princess?
That is one of my favorite videos of all time. And prepping that video, even down to using a garbage bag as fake hair, was so fun.
I am Flashy. We need to link that one in the description. At least that video, guys. If you want to go to his channel and laugh, that is a video to go watch. I have Dink, that style of humor murders me every time. But that goes to show you the variety of content that you put out on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta, I think I'm very unique. There's some times where, I'm putting a video out like that, like in that.
I never know what to expect.
Yeah, in that particular event, I was just kind of trying to correct some incorrect information to help people, on YouTube, and then, just responding to personal attacks after that. But then, there's also like yesterday, I put out a video where like I just turn my camera on and just talk. Like I made a video called "Is it okay to get salty?" And I just sit there and talk for, 7 minutes or whatever it is about things like that. I've talked about things like depression. I made a video when I lost my mom and like things like that. That's just like, I don't know, just I don't want people to just see me as this Mortal Kombat player. I want, like I want to get to know me as a person. I think that's something that kind of separates my channel from some of the other ones. That's like, oh, here's me making top 8 every single week, but here's me talking about me. There's some mental health struggles that I go through. There's some real life things that I go through, and just telling you that it's okay that, just because I'm on this platform and I have a following doesn't mean I'm not going through some human things just like you, right? So I try and keep that in there, and I think that's a big reason why my channel has such a good following, and the Bonehawks are freaking awesome. Every single one of you.
There it is. I love to hear the shout out to the community. But yeah, man, that bringing that human element is something that people really don't think about. It's like you got to I mean, that was one of the big reasons that we wanted to bring this show out, was because it's like everybody sees these gamer tags and they see like, okay, this person's a Jackie player, this person's Setron, whatever. But it's like there's a human being sitting behind that screen with a controller in their hand, playing and going through whatever and doing their thing, and trying to make a name for themselves, trying to deal with this, trying to deal with that. And that's when we were pitching this show. It was like, yeah, people need to start seeing that. And a lot of comments that we get about the show is like, man, it's awesome to see the person behind the gamer tag. We literally just had someone. I think it was an Injustice 2 player who plays in Kolosseum. He just tweeted about us that he was watching Nikki's episode. He's like, man, it's so cool to see the guy behind the gamer tag. And it's like, dude, like that's exactly why I want to bring the show together, like bringing that human element back into this. Like the game is awesome, the humans behind the game are even better, and that's why we wanted to bring the show together. And you just hit the nail on the head with that, which is awesome to hear.
Oh man, yeah, I'm glad that you guys are doing this, because I'm from watching the KoloCast. I've learned a lot about a lot of people. Though I didn't realize that Sunio was in the community as long as he was. Until I watched that
Same.
cast, I was like, wow, okay,
Blew me
just
away,
kind of in the
man.
background.
Dude, some of these guys, man, they've been playing this game for like 2 decades at this point. I still cannot believe. I didn't even know that the 3D MK games had online. Is that OG Xbox Live?
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
He went to
He said that with some
Walmart and
pride
bought a
right
little
there.
box that came with a little headset
Hell
and a little thing
yeah.
to plug into the back. Yeah,
Good times right there. Good times. Dink.
good times, man. Good times.
So, Dink, nowadays, to bring people up to speed, you are currently, right now, competing in the Colosseum. And
That's correct.
It'll only take me 1 second over here to pull it up, but I have the results from every single week. I have the current standings. Let's pull it up. Season 2. I got 14 spreadsheets of data on you. It's incredible.
Wow, look at that.
So right now, currently in the standings, you're in 4th place in Mortal Kombat X for Season 2. There's, I think we're nearing like a $700, $800 prize pool for that game right now. And this is 18 years after you've been in this space. You're competing weekly here with us, and I can't thank you enough for doing so. And you're kicking a little bit of ass, man.
You are
4th
kicking
place
ass.
right now. Can you tell us about
Thank
that?
you. A lot of it's muscle memory, if I'm being honest. I haven't really. I've been practicing a little bit. I can't really keep up with the guys like Unbearable Skill who play every day and know all the nuances and stuff
Me
like
too.
Yeah, but I think from grinding it so hard back for those 2 years when it first came out, there's a lot of it is just stuck in my brain, and like playing like even against Ermac, knowing that what is a forward 2-1-2 or whatever has I can backdash a last hit, stuff like that like I haven't done in like 6 years, but as soon as I see it, I just boop, there it is, comes out, and it's been really fun. It's been cool to kind of quote unquote relive my youth as I say, in my glory days, and the format's really cool, and I think that's what I like the most. I really like that there's not like this bracket like what is it, 2 weeks ago I did 4-1 and I got into top 8. Last week I lost 3 matches right off the bat and I'm like fuck. So I went through, and I think I won 7 in a row, and I managed to barely squeak into top 8. And that was really exciting for me, and that's why I like that kind of format. I think it's really effective. I think it makes for good gameplay. It certainly makes for good YouTube content, because that's a lot of matches for me to upload. So, kind of, double fisting it there or whatever. But Yeah, and
Dude, I speak
it's
the same thing about that format, Dink, is that I'm like, this is so perfect for everyone. For me, it's easier to run the thing. I get to sit back and it's so much less of a hassle to deal with the rounds and then the DQs and all that fun stuff. And for players, there's zero downtime. You compete and you play matches until it's over. And as a streamer, that is got to be the best thing ever, because that's the worst part about online tournaments right now. I feel like for content, especially live content on Twitch or YouTube or wherever you are, Facebook, is that you play your tournament match and got to wait 45 minutes minimum until your next one. And then you wait another hour, and then you wait another 30 minutes, and then that's it. That's it. And this one is just go, 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 go. Okay, little bit of a breather if you made top 8. Okay,
Yeah.
go, 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 GG's.
Yeah, it's a great format. You know, it's wonderful. You know, and the losers run in a traditional bracket fucking sucks because you're always waiting. And this time it's like, okay, who's ready? You're ready. I'm also ready. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. You know, and you know it's really good at not matching you up with the guy that just kicked your ass 5 minutes ago. So that's kind of cool too.
I also after week 1 and week 2, I have it so that there are right now in all of them there's 0 runbacks
Like
at all, and no one has run short on matches yet.
No, that's a good format. I really like it, and I like watching the top 8. I like the format of the top 8, the first to 3, first to 5, first to 7. That's really cool. I really enjoy going back and watching my matches to kind of see what I did wrong, and hearing Michelangelo's absolutely unbiased commentary. It's fantastic.
You get Quanchi on the screen, that man is happy. Let me
Oh
tell you.
yeah, big smiles, big smiles.
Well, Dink, you've absolutely been crushing it from a competitive standpoint. The first week I entered, we played, and let me tell you, did I get lucky? Because this man came out a swinging, and we've avoided the run back. I'm shocked we haven't gotten the run back in the past couple of weeks, but I know that Dink wants it. He's ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready to keep you full screen for 3 full matches.
And right there, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like with 14 years in this game, 18 years in this game, we could talk about so much, and we definitely got to have you back on the show. But it was so awesome to hear about. I mean, we've talked about the early days here, but that is like pre-early days, man. Hearing about that was absolutely insane. And now, fast forwarding to now, seeing you compete every single Saturday with that Quan Chi, even though if Li Mei was in the game, we wouldn't see the Quan Chi. Please let everybody know where they can find you, the YouTube, the Twitter, all that good stuff. Your Twitter has been right below you the whole time. Where can they find you on YouTube and all that good stuff? And what you got going on, please let them know.
Yeah, youtube.com/Shujinkydink. Also twitch.tv/Shujinkydink. We mostly stream MK11. Lately, I've been learning a new character for every Combat League season until the new game comes out. We're learning
Nice.
spawns now. And yeah, all sorts of content on the YouTubes. We do one-on-one lessons if you need it. Patreon.com/Shujinkydink. Or you could just join the Discord for $1. I found that having a free Discord led to too many randoms coming in and causing problems. So we gatekeep it with $1. And we have a wonderful community. It's great. So
Just like that, everybody. Go join Shujinkydink community. Go check out the YouTube channel. Check him out on his Kolosseum runs at MKX every Saturday. We appreciate you guys listening to the KoloCast. We're going to catch you next week for another episode. We're going to see you then.